2010, my wife and I, who are touring musicians, so us and other musicians throughout the country were trying to figure out ways that we could do human-powered tours. So in 2010, us and about two other musicians and one videographer hiked from Beckett, Massachusetts, which is in the Berkshires, all the way to Somerville over 17 days. And that was our initial year. That was just us bringing our music to communities on foot, and we learned a great deal, not about just the logistics, the day-to-day of performing, but also hiking there on foot and also camping in the evening. My wife Rayanne Richards and I are both self-taught musicians, and we've been touring and together from about 2003, so it's going on 20 years for us doing this, performing and also teaching and leading public hikes with the Massachusetts Walking Tour.
Just, a song that you like that's maybe gotten you through a tough time in your life can really lift you up just when you need it. And we love it. It's like breathing. I can't go a day without singing or playing an instrument. I love it doing it. And to get to do things that I love, like hiking and music at the same time, is pretty special.
Yeah, initially when we were doing the concerts, it was really we would reach out and find musicians or storytellers or poets from the towns we were visiting and invite them to perform as part of the program. So we were creating basically a traveling variety show that changed night after night after night. So that inclusion of musicians, that's a whole community in and of itself. But then when we started leading the public hikes and bonding with stewardship organizations that cared for properties and trails, that's a whole nother group of people. So by day now, we're including all these hikers to lead these public hikes like we're doing today at Ames Nowell. And the people who show up is so different. You have young kids showing up, you have people that are elderly, all different ability ranges too, depending on where we're walking. So if we're doing a trail, like last year, we hiked all 85 miles of the Massachusetts section of the Appalachian Trail. That was a little off limits to certain people because of the type of terrain it was, but we also include walks like what we'll be doing in Rockland, where we're doing like the Abington, Rockland, Hanover Rail Trail section, which is just long and flat, so a lot of different types of people, ability ranges can join us for that. So the community, it's really broad, musicians and hiking enthusiasts and just people that like to be out in nature. But they've come to expect the Massachusetts Walking Tour as an annual trek for them, to see different parts of the state, to see different land like this, the Ames Nowell State Park. I've never been here myself. And also to see different places where we hold our concerts, all the different venues, whether it be public libraries or the high school auditorium like we're doing tonight in Abington. So we try to reach out to as many different types of people as possible.
I found out about these hikes when my friend Patricia, who's very involved in conservation in Holbrook, told me about the group. So I put in for time off so I could join. I just thought it was a very interesting concept, and to learn about the different trails in different towns and music and hiking with instruments. And I love to be outdoors, and it's a way of bringing people out into the woods and working towards showing people what we're working to protect.
Well, when we're doing research for whatever area we're gonna go to, I typically will gravitate towards large green spaces, and this is a pretty big park. So right out the gate, we were excited, assuming that we'd be able to really kind of get ourselves in the woods, get away from the sound of cars and lawnmowers and things like that, and really get some nice peace and quiet. And members of the community that we had reached out to also encouraged us that this would be a really beautiful spot to go. And often too on these hikes, sometimes people will come and say, oh, I live right up the road and I've never been here. And then really it depends on where we are. This area so far, we've had a lot of people interested in getting out in the woods, which is great.
It was just a fun day. Be in the woods and have a concert and hang out with local people. I can think of worse ways to spend a day off.
People are struggling to connect in reality, and this is a really good way to do that. But they are willing to do it, right? So it's like people know that it's important and that they feel like it's something they need to do, because we're as humans, we are programmed biologically to connect with each other. So I feel like COVID threw up a bunch of barriers, and now people are kind of trying to pick up the pieces. And this is one of those things that's really approachable for people, of all walks of life, of all political views, and then depending on the terrain, of all abilities too. Like some of our hikes on this trip are going to be on a nice flat rail trail, so you don't have to be carrying a big pack to be out there. And that's been really, really nice. If there's one thing that I really get out of this tour every year, it's just like a renewal in my faith that humanity is good, people are good.